Well, Matt Nail now, Tom Roach, and were two great men with dogs after rabbits, years ago. Lamb.
Yeah,
and they went into a row up here. That's where Raheen got his name, the row. And they went in up down to McMurphy's row. And now all the old fellas said, what will you do now? Don't go into the row.
Yeah.
They had two real good dogs. And they'll tell you that, they can tell you that still now. And they went into the row. And the row was full of rabbits.
Yes.
The dogs wouldn't follow the rabbits in the row.
Yeah.
And the next thing, the two dogs started to shake and shiver. And they ran on the road. And the two dogs died about a week after.
Aye?
Yeah. And Matt will tell you that to this day now. So they wouldn't go near her anymore.
There's a row down in Tarmdara or Mistern, somewhere down in the fields. It could be Forlands, it could be, I don't know where. Now, Morris, my brother Morris would know where it was, because he told me the story, and I presume the story is true, because when the rural electrification came to our corner of the woods, in the 1950s was it, I suppose, they put a pole in the row and all down along there, that line.
Yeah.
And I presume it went along the line, that's why they put it in it. So they lit up, they had a big ceremony sometime in the hall, and they lit all up, and everything went grand. But a few days after they lit it up, the transformer or whatever they had on that pole tripped, and it blew out all Adamstown. So they went and they fixed it up and come on away and lifted, and it tripped again. So they go back and they put a new transformer, whatever they had to put on it, put a new one on it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with the old one. So that burnt out, blew again. So after several more goes at trying and fixing it, they put another pole outside the row. And it's worked perfectly ever since. And the one that they put in the row is still there, without minus the wires and stuff. And apparently it can be seen to this day.
Aye, I never knew that now, but...
No, you didn't never know that.
No.
And my brother says it's there to this day, that pole.
Yeah.
Covered in ivy.
Yeah.
If there's a row in a field or something like that, they don't like touching it. Because like
People
there was a
tell
case
you.
there, Jim knew, my husband, I know, there was some case and something happened. Some fella, he mowed down the row and he's levelled off the field or something, and something, I think the poor man got cancer or something a short time after that, like. But then, like,
people don't touch them.
They don't, I suppose, you know.
They're left there.
Yeah, I suppose you don't think of these things till something happen if you do the thing. But then people are a bit afraid of getting rid of a row because they say it's unlucky or something. They're there for some purpose or something.
He was after cleaning up. He cleaned up all this out. It was supposed to be a row, you know, full of those little old small shrubs, you know. And he was supposed to have taken them out of it, you know, took them up out of it. And a couple of days after, he got this disease in his arm and he had to have it off. And I reckon it was from that, you know, from the touching them, you know, that those little men lived in it, you know. That was haunted and that.
I tell a man that ploughed around one time though, and he had a real good pair of horses, a mare heavy and full.
Yeah.
And the old man that he got the place from said to him, what will you do now? He says, don't touch that spot in the field. So yeah, man said, that's bullshit. So he went on anyway, and he said to the fellow working with him, plough down that bank there. I said, the old fellow says there's something there. He said, well, right up to that, yeah. The man drove into it anyway, and the plough turned over, went through one of the horses' bellies, the mare would fall.
Yes, of course.
She had to be put down. The next day, the man that was doing the ploughing got, oh God, what did he get a few years ago? Not meningitis, polio.
Yes.
And he was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. The next time he went out, the place went to fire while he was trying to plough. And the next thing, the wife died. So he packed up completely, and that spot is there in that field still for anyone to see. For never to sense. That is a fact now.
When talking about the Raths, there was children buried in them Raths, you know, near them that were never baptised. I know of one particular place up near the Harra, and this family, they had a lot of children, but they were dead born. There was only one lived, and I always remember as a child, my father and the father of the child that died actually had this little small coffin, and they went over the lane, and it was actually buried, because we used to pick blackberries there in the summertime, and I often thought of where had they buried the actual coffin, because you weren't allowed into the consecrated ground if you know.
That was terrible, wasn't
It was, yeah. And that's where there was babies buried in the. I don't know if they were actually in the Ra, but we always called it that and near it. That's where we used to pick the blackberries. I presume that Ra is still there. I don't know.
My father was telling me this, this is going back a good few years, and like this man or something, he levelled off the Ra or something with the tractor or something, and he had awful trouble or something doing it. No matter what way he do it, he couldn't get the thing levelled right or something, and when he got it eventually, but I think the man said that he'd never do anything like it again, because whatever way he used to do it, something was happening wrong or something,
There was the one up in Sligo that my sister was telling me about. He was a developer, like a wealthy man, and she believes this now. I'm sure you don't have to believe it, but he demolished a someplace. He was part of, I think it was part of the road situation, or building a new road. Either that or they were developing houses or whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
But the Ra was demolished, the house or the road or everything was put in place. And he was killed one night, going home from some kind of a do. He hadn't taken any drink, because everyone that knew said no, so. But the car went off the road and he was killed, and there were never any explanations to why the car seemed to be in perfect order. He was running a big car.
Yeah.
Oh, I always heard it said that you never meddle with the Ra, that you just leave it. And even people today consider it not lucky to get involved.
Definitely, yeah. You don't want to interfere with the Ra.
No. That's all I say.
But to tell you, to think of the exact things. I have heard so many things in passing, even to this day. Sure, I heard it only recently, where this lad went in and he levelled the Ra, and his mother got a stroke that night. And it happened. But there was a coincidence, or the Ra had to do with it.
I've always heard it said.
That's only happened in the last 6 weeks.